Okay, well now we've got, we did before, the other lecture was on our roof, the plot. And what I had to do, and it took me so long to do, is I wanted to give you an idea for each shape that we have. So I'm going to go through and do a little bit on each one so you kind of get what we're doing, and it should be pretty easy for you. So hopefully I can break this video down into a couple of parts. Now, the one thing to remember, yeah, I've got the information on the front. I just have the outside shell. I don't have windows and doors, so you have to use your own common sense, okay? All right, the very first thing I want you to do is I also made you a file that's going to be very, very helpful for you. So put yourself in the 0 layer, come to Insert, Insert, go to our W drive, and we're going to get roof information. Now, with roof information, make sure it's exploded and tell it okay. I'm going to place this up here and get it out of the way a little bit. I'll be able to refer to it. Now, this is what I did for students way back when, before we did our videos. So this is like basic instructions right here on what to do for the hip roof, the gable roof. And here is all of our different, our rise over run, our slopes. These are the different ones that you can have. And you can see, we had the lecture, we had the discussion, you know, the smaller slopes like here, like the 4, 5, 6, 7. These are really our area in Florida. When you start getting up north, they're really getting into these higher elevations because they have snow. We have, remember, we have the hurricanes. And remember, down south, the hip roofs are more popular for the simple fact we do have hurricanes, the insurance is less, and the gables are more popular up north or in the snow country. Okay, so let's take a look and let's just get some basic things done. All right, so let's take, let's go ahead and we'll start here. We'll start with this gable. When you're coming into here, and this is a square and this is the rectangle, they're going to both be the same, y'all. So don't fret or worry. What you're going to do, and here's something to remember too. The front is going to be the same as the back, as the side is to the side on both gables, on the rectangle and the square. So you don't have to kill yourself and do things twice. Now, you always want to start with the peak area. So with our roof, I'm going to come over here and just grab the side, and I'm going to make sure, please make sure ortho is on. I've run into several people lately not doing that. And let's copy and bring from here to here to here. Okay? That's going to give us the lines. Just like we projected these red lines down, that's what we've done with the others. So now we have this. So let's do this also. Let's come from here. And I'm only going to do the side and the other so you can see it. Okay. Now, this area here, when we were to look at it, it's going to look like a big rectangle. This is the area that's going to have that slope to it. So let's just come over here and let's pick out a slope. Let's just do something very common, not a big deal. Let's use this 7. This way it's good for north, south, whatever. And actually, it's probably not tall enough for up north, but let's just use this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy, and I'm going to copy this whole thing. You know, I'm going to take the number so you can actually see it, so we don't have to worry about it. And I'm going to place it right here. Now, with that being placed right here, you got to remember, this is if this roof, if this was laying flat. So when I do this, I'm going to rotate it. And please make sure you've got your ortho on. If you don't, it's going to really mess you up. So we're going to have there. And now you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror. And you know what? I'm only going to take the slope line, the only one we need, and I'm going to do that. So now you can see what this 7 slope is. So it rises 7, goes back 12. Now, once you get this done, and another thing, if your whole area here is super, super close to your house, you can move it all. Just move the whole thing out. Make sure ortho is still on. All right, the next thing I'm going to do for this, and remember, this is the gable. I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to copy. And I'm going to take that one and I'm going to put it right to that edge right there. Okay? Then I'm going to copy again. I'm going to go from the end point to the end point here. Okay? So now I have that set up. Now, so you can actually see this. you want me, I will go ahead and do this turn, and my screen's going to get real small real quick because I have so much stuff on here. Oops, let me do another, hang on, one more time. There we go. Kind of freaked you out there, huh? So now we're on this. So basically I'd rotated it, and now I've moved here and here. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extend. And with this, I could hit my space bar and I can take this and it extends to here and that up, up, and out. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to offset. I'm going to offset 6 inches. Now people go, why 6 inches? Well, think about it. When we're doing the roof, our roof has more than just, it's not a layer of paper. You've got your trusses down here, then you have your plywood on top, then you have your tar paper or your membrane if it's the filament, and then you have your shingles. So it works out to about 6 inches, okay? So I just offset up 6 inches. Now, I'm going to extend these 2 lines up, and I'll hold my shift down. I'm going to trim these 2 lines out. Oops, right here. He's going to be trimmed, and right here. Okay? Now, at this point, for my grading sake, people, please leave these red lines so I know where things are going. So if they get in your way, we can freeze them off for right now. Okay? Now, this is where the house ends. See how it stops here? The roof, I should say, and the roof ends here. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to do our trim. And we are going to trim, I'm going to just pick these and trim this one and this one away. Now, see these 2 ends? I'm going to actually delete. Now, I'm going to zoom into this end, and all you have to do is we're going to come here. We're going to come down 2 inches down, 2 inches over. Oops, that would help. 2 inches over, and I'm going to drop it till across. Okay? And now I'm just going to trim that little edge up. So once again, I drew a line straight down 2 inches, in 2 inches, and I dropped it till across. Now, the only thing I have to do here is I'm going to copy. I don't care which line I'm taking. I'm going to take this one here from the end point to the end point right there. Okay? See what that looks like now? And see, it's actually hanging over up here. That's okay. Now, if I've done everything correctly, I can either come over here and do the same thing over here, or I can just mirror. And you know I'm lazy. So I am just going to mirror, and I'm going to select all of those edges and this. From there, I'm going to come up here and take this right here, that intersection there, and I'm going to come straight down. And I'm not deleting it. See what I've got now? So with that, I'm going to do my trim here, and I'm going to trim up here and here. Okay, so that's our side elevation of our house. Now, with that being said, and I froze off those red lines, okay? The next thing is I need to get this roof over here. All right, with that, and I can use whatever line I want. I'm going to delete it anyway. Let me just use a different color so you can see it. I don't want to turn on my red lines yet, though. Let's go ahead and just do something like in the door layer for right now. I'm going to draw one continual line from the midpoint, and this is for all you people that have got separate lines there. You're going to have some problems, and I'm going to draw this all the way through to the midpoint of the bottom. See, I went from the bottom to the bottom, okay? Now, the next thing I can do is take mirror, and I can select all of these, my piece up there, and all of these. Now, here's the thing. I'm not just going to come in here and pick midpoint, because what if I ended up picking the midpoint of the purple line underneath? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch my green line here. And you see by me touching it here, that midpoint is popping up here. That's what I want to do. Now, if for some reason that midpoint's not showing up for you, you can do an O snap override or simply type in mid and hit enter. And now I can actually touch the screen line and see where it's going. Make sure your ortho's on, pull it straight out. And we're not deleting. Okay, once I get that done, I can go ahead and delete. Okay, so if I turn back on my red lines, you'll see it all lined up. You see how I've got everything's matching? See how it's sitting perfect right there? So I've got 2 elevations done. Now, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to freeze off those red lines again. And actually, no, I'm going to leave them. Okay, let me show you how to do these side ones, okay? Now, we're going to be looking at this direction here. So let's go ahead with the red and let's go line. And now watch. I'm going to draw my first line from the very bottom. How far across? I really don't care. Okay, I am going to copy and make sure you have your ortho on. And I'm going to do here, 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 and all the way at the top here. Now remember, that's called projectioning. We projected these lines, correct? All right, so now the next thing we're going to do, this gives us our reference point on where it's going to go down here. So I'm going to go ahead and move these, and I'm going to get them out of my way, and I'm going to rotate. Now please remember which is your top and which is your bottom, okay? That is the top and that's the bottom. Here's the top line, here's the bottom. If you have to change layers so you know what you're doing, that's fine too, okay? Now, the next thing I'm going to do is very, very simple, okay? I am going to come in here and I've already checked my work. I'm going to delete these so you can see this a little bit better. I am going to take this and I'm going to move. Now, since this was our bottom, I'm going to take it from the end point and I'm putting it on the end point there, okay? So this is telling me I've lined it up. This is showing me where the edge is here, and this here is the tippity top. This is here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take all of these, and I'm just going to drop them on our roof layer. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my trim, and I'm hitting my space bar. I'm going to trim out these, this. I'm going to hold my shift down and extend, trim. And now I'm going to hold down my shift again, and I'm going to extend these guys out, and I'm going to extend these guys out. I'm going to trim away this, and with that, I can trim away this and this. And now I can erase anything extra that's floating out here. Okay, so that's what the side of that house looks like. Now, the next thing is, I really don't need this anymore, but I'll leave it here for the time being. So there is my elevation here. Here is this elevation. Now, this is going to be the same as this one here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just, one more time, I'm going to draw a line from the midpoint of the bottom to the midpoint of the bottom. Make sure you're doing that because we've got to find the proper midpoint. I'm going to mirror and I'm going to select all of those and this. Now I'm going to come in here and once again, look where I'm touching here. I'm going to take it off this red line at the midpoint. Notice you would think it'd be here. That's the midpoint of this roof, but I'm doing it off of this red one here. If you want to make sure, type in MID and just touch this red line here. And we're going to pull it down and we're not erasing. So see how my roof is all lined up? If you don't do the proper one on the midpoint, you're going to have some problems. Okay, so now with all that being done, let's do some cleanup and let me show you some things. Okay, as a matter of fact, before you do the cleanup, please raise your hand and have me come check your roofs. If you get one of these roofs done, have me check it and I'll be more than happy to check to make sure it's being done correctly. Okay, so now that you raised your hand, it's all checked. Now this is what you can do, is you can get rid of these red lines. And let me show you what else you're going to get rid of. This is absolutely fine here. Okay? This is fine here. See this over here? You're not going to see this one. Let me do this. You're not going to see that line up there. So I'm going to do trim. I'm hitting my space bar. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. And I got to get rid of it all the way down here. Okay? Let's come over here. And please only do this after you get me to check it. Okay? So that red line there was originally the top of the house. That's perfectly fine. It's not going to print. But now come over here and check this out. I'm going to do my trim again, and I'm going to pick this bottom line here. Now, I'm going to get, oops, let's see what's going on here. Trim, I guess it didn't want me to do that. Okay, I don't know what's going on with this. Here we go. Oh, it was one full line. I'm going to delete. I'm going to trim. I'm going to take here. And I'm going to take here. Now, check this out. Look where our roof goes. Our roof goes, it actually covers part of our window. Not a problem, people. Trim, pick this bottom line, trim this out. And if you've already drawn your window in, that's fine. It seems like a waste of your time and stuff, but it really is not. Trim, 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 trim. And we're going to take these three, and I'm going to throw these on the red lines just in case I make some stupid mistake and I need those back. And then here is this one. Let's see what I've got. Okay, let's trim this. Let's do this one and this one. Let's get this extra edge here, this extra edge here, and this one. Check that out. So there's my elevations for that. Okay, I will go ahead and get rid of that so you can see. So that's the first elevation. This is a basic gable roof. This is all you have to do, and it's going to be the same exact thing for this one up here, which is your square. So I'm not going to bother doing the square. So that's your perfect gable right there. Okay, now let's go check and do, let's just take a look at, all right, we got the gable. If we come down to here, we're going to be doing the same exact thing, but in this area here, we're going to have the smaller one. So I'm trying to think what's going to save us the most time. I think what's going to save us the most time is if I do this one right here. Okay, so let's go back up to here. And let me take a look real quick. Okay, see this area here? These ones are going to be needed, so I'm going to come and put ourselves back flat. And it's going to jump out. You can see I've got so much stuff going on. So you can see that's finished. Let's come over here. And oops, I forgot to get, let's go ahead and copy this here. And let's take this all the way over to here. And I just want to get some of this done real quick. And let's mirror here to here. Now, once again, you're going to have to take, and I'm going to put it in the roof layer, and you're going to have to take from edge, make sure your ortho's on, and let's do a copy. Now from here, we pick the top, we pick here, we pick here, we pick here, and we pick here. Okay? All right, now, with that being done, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these red lines so they don't bother you, or bother me, I should say. And they're gone. Now, look at this. We're going to have the peaks here, and we're also going to have them here. So I'm going to copy this one and go from here and here. And look, I put it on that corner and that corner. And I'm going to copy again. And I'm going to go that corner. See, it's going to where the edge of the house is and that corner. Now, I know that looks kind of crazy, but see right here and right here, this corner, it's crazy crossing over. I can just do a fillet right here and clean this up if it's going to drive you crazy. And let's do that one there. Now, what we're going to do with that is you see how far off we're going to offset here to. You know what? I'm going to get rid of these red lines so they don't confuse you either. Okay, I'm going to, let's go our extend. And this one is going to there, and this one's there, that one's there, that one's there. See, because these are going all the way out to the edges of that property there, okay, or the actual house. Now let's offset out 6 inches, and let's take this and come up, this and come up, this and come up, this and come up. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing I did before. Fill it, fill it. Then I'm going to go do a trim, 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 and trim. Now, okay, I can even do one more trim. Let's do this one. Let's select these two and trim here and trim here. That way we don't have to worry about it. Now, once we get that set up, remember what I said? You can get rid of these. And I'm coming in here and I'm going to take my line. I'm going to go here, going down 2, going into, whoops, 2, and I'm dropping down to cross. I'm going to trim these up or fillet these up. It really doesn't matter. And I'm going to copy here to here. Okay. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and do my mirror. Select these and this. Right click. Come right here to the intersection and pull down. And I'm not going to delete it. Trimming off these. And see right here? Trim. Okay. Now, you know I'm lazy. So I'm going to go here and go copy. And this. I'm going to take the top corner. And I'm coming over here. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing over here because I don't have to redo it over. And take the top corner. Come over here. Now I'm going to trim. There. There. And let's get rid of these. And these. Now, that's just that part. Now, here's the thing. See this over here? We have to do the same thing over on this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one. And notice with this one here, it's going to be the same, but this one's going to have 2 different areas poking out. So let's just do this quickly. Here. And I'm going to take this corner right here. And I'm also going to take here down. Okay, so that's what I have right now. So with it, I need to come do the same thing I just did over on this guy here. So I'll do that quickly for you. I'm going to copy this guy, move him over here, and I'm going to rotate him. Okay, I'm going to take and copy this guy here and this guy here. Now it needs to go, let me see. And actually, I'm going to do something a little different. He's right here. I'm going to trim him up at this point here. And I'm going to mirror him. Make sure your ortho's on. And now, because I wasn't quite sure where to put it, so it actually has to get put that way. So here I can go extend, and extend this one out. And I extend, whoops, wrong way. I need to extend it that way. Let me hit my shift and get rid of that. So I need it to come down to this one here. Okay, with that, we're going to do exactly the same thing. Offset 6 inches. It's coming up. It's coming up. I'm going to either trim or extend. Use the same command. Trim. Hold my shift down. Turns into extend. Trim. And with this, I'm coming here and here. And I'm going to now delete this, these two. And let's trim this guy up here. Oops, I don't need to trim. I just have to delete this. That's even better. Okay, so I have that. Now, that gets me started here. I need to do the same thing with my lines. 2 inches, 2 inches this way. Trim. Copy. Trim. And remember, I like mirroring because I am lazy. So then I can go mirror, select, select, pick it right here, bring it straight down. So I have that part. Now, this is going to be a little different. I'm going to erase these two lines. This red line here is showing the edge of that, and we've got 2 different edges going on. See, this one is representing here, and then we have this. So, what are we going to do with this? And let me show you. Let me delete that out. I'm going to take the little one and the big one at the same time. So let's go in here and take from the tippity top here and bring it out. Let's go from the tippity top here and bring it out. Let's bring it from each of these little guys and bring it out. Now let's get this one. And you can just copy and do these. I don't know why I'm wasting such time. I do. I'm tired. There we go. From here to here. Now I am going to change the color of the one on the bottom because this is very complicated as far as the amount of lines. It'll drive you crazy. So now when I go to move and rotate, so watch. Let's move these out of the way. And all I've done is projected my measurements. And now I'm going to rotate. And I need the red line to be on the left-hand side like so. Okay? Now watch. I'm going to move all of this. And depends on how long these lines came out. I can move them way back here if I want, or I can just put them like right here and extend things if I like. I'm going to go ahead and just pick it like somewhere in the middle here on the bottom line. Okay? Now, with this line here is representing that height. This line here is representing the bottom. So let's do this one first. Okay? Now, let's take out this line right here. All right, so let's zoom in here and let's do some trimming. Hit my space bar and I'm going to get rid of all of these. Now zoom in here. Let's get rid of this little stuff that we've got flying around. And look at it. It all pretty much matched up right where we need it. It looks like there's one little thing that's off. And actually, there's 2 things that are off. Let me undo this. Let's see what I've got. What did I do? I want to move this out of the way. So let me go ahead and go move again. And I'm going to make sure see if they line up. There's still something off here, so I will figure that out shortly. But as far as the rest goes, let's get this part done here. And this one is coming through. Okay, with this, I'm going to do my trim, and I'm going to take here, get rid of all this. This line here is going to stop here, and here. This line is stopping, whoops. This line is stopping here. And then check this one out here. Is stopping here. So I'm getting rid of this one here, this one here, this one here, here, and let's see, that, and this. So that's basically what it's going. I will work on this one here, and I will get some editing done on this video or whatever that I need, because these should all line up very well together. There's got to be something I'm missing. But this is the side of that roof. So that's what it's going to look like. And when you start getting into it, watch this. This will trim away. This will trim away. And of course, we'll get all the way through here. So look how it actually blends in. And if you wanted to actually get rid of this, depending on what you're going to do, we'll talk about that later on with your patch and things like that. So when you look at that, this wall represents this part. This first little roof part represents this part. And then this larger roof represents that part. So the next thing we would do is we would project these lines down and put them over top of this. So I will take the time and do this, and then I will stop and I will do the hip roof next. And I will work on that. So we're going to take that. That's going to be our height. And that's really what we need is our height, and we need this. We don't need the other things there. So I'm going to go ahead and I can probably rotate it where it is, like so. The red was on the bottom, and move from the red bottom to the bottom. So with this one, I come down through here, and I come down through here. And the next thing I just have to do is fill it. Corner to corner, corner to corner. And it should line up perfect right there. And it should line up perfect right there. So I'm going to trim this and this. Don't forget to delete the little stuff. And then when it comes across to here, this line should reach this line. And we can copy this here, here, and here. And we can extend this one on over. Okay? So, once again, there's our house setup. And if we really need to do our trimming, let's see, we can probably delete this. How's that? And then we can do our trim, which would be anything in between here. And I would definitely get rid of, put these on the red layer so they're not going to print, whichever. But before you start trimming those, please have me check it. So check that out. That's what the front looks like. Okay? Now, what would the back look like? Just this larger area here. So if we can do this, and this is why this video is taking me so long. If I did from, let's change the layer again. I'm going to throw myself into a different layer so you can see it. If I did a line from midpoint of the bottom to midpoint of the bottom, okay, make sure you're on the bottom, and I did a mirror. Now here's the thing, with this mirror, I don't need everything. I need these edges. And you know what else? I'm going to take these guys right here. Okay? Now I'm going to touch the green. You see where the midpoint is? Perfect. Come across, and I'm not erasing the edge. or the extra pieces. Now, with this, I'll delete out these red lines so you can see it. Get rid of these so you can see it. Watch how easy this is. I'm going to go here, fill it, here to here, here to here, and extend. And take this one and go here to here, here to here. And of course with this one, it's going to be the same thing with the trim. We're coming here, here, and then I'm going to erase. So there. So you see with this one compared to this one. And now with this one over here, you're not going to see the little guy. So let's do this one. Do a line from the midpoint here to the midpoint here. And from there, we're going to go ahead and copy. We're going to copy this, this, all of this. And look, only the top, this edge, and these guys here. And we're going to touch the green to get to the mid. And, oops, it would help if I did a mirror, wouldn't it? So back to the mirroring. Here, 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 here. Touch the mid and come this way. Now, see how it all pops onto place? And once again, this can come out. It's all going to depend. Whoops, come back here. That was all a rectangle. Sorry about that. So let's do a trim. This is all going to be what you choose to do with this. And the only other thing you'll do is you'll add your little lines right here to match that. So, do you see how that works? Okay, that's for Gable. I'm going to end this one now, and I'm going to finish up, and I'm going to do the hip. These other ones here, I think you should have enough information to figure out by watching this one to be able to do these two, because with the square and the rectangle, that should be fine. I will work on the hip tomorrow morning, and I'll try to do the same setup for you so you can see it. So that's pretty much on this one. I know it's long, but fast forward through to what you need, okay? So that should do, you guys.